Do you hear me well, guys?
Yes, I can hear you all right.
Oh, great. So, LAToken is a liquid asset token platform. We tokenize and make tradable real assets in crypto. So this allows crypto investors to diversify portfolio, to invest in Apple shares, in gold, in real estate, and so on, without exchanging crypto to fiat. I would start from a video which shows how it works for real estate and illiquid assets, and then discuss in detail how it works for liquid assets.
Human energy, ideas, and DNA have created assets worth trillions of dollars, which are still not being used to the fullest to benefit people. Now you can unlock the value of those assets. Works of art, precious metals, real estate may become liquid in no time with the help of blockchain technology. It's easy. Sell part of your asset to a LAT certified custody. Tokenize your asset on our platform and sell it in fractions to investors. Investors may sell the tokens on a secondary market. Then you can buy back the asset up until the settlement date. You can start now. Just go to LAToken.com. Log in, fill in your personal details, add a description of your asset and the name of the asset token. Set the smart contract, set the legal structure. Sign the term sheet, get approval, and wait for the token's sale date. You can tokenize your asset right from the sofa. Make transactions safely and store them on blockchain. Download LAT Wallet. Check your blockchain synchronization in real time. Easily manage your portfolio on LAT platform. Tokenize and trade your assets via LAToken.com.
Okay. Did you see and hear this video, guys?
Yes, I can see it all right.
Great. Okay. How do you like it? Was it clear, or it's maybe too fast?
Well, for me, I just basically understood you take a real asset that is obviously very, very valuable and very, very large, and you chop it into little tiny pieces and little tiny coins, and then you can use those coins as a liquid asset. Is that right?
Yes. We do it for illiquid assets. We make them liquid by making fractions, tokenized fractions. We also work with already liquid assets. I will discuss both of these cases in details. Now let me switch to presentation. So our mission is to bridge crypto and real economies. We enable cryptocurrencies to be used in the real economy for trading real assets. And we already tokenized Apple shares and Amazon and oil. And the benefit out of this is that crypto investors don't need to exchange into fiat their crypto. They just go to our platform and buy LAT tokens and use these LAT tokens to buy Apple, Amazon, and so on. And this makes real assets available for them via cryptocurrency 24/7 globally with almost zero transaction costs. That, as I mentioned, we are trading Apple, oil, and gold. It looks like this. Asset available for tokenization. Potential assets are something like $600 trillion. This number doesn't include human bodies. It's just real estate, equity, debt, commodities, works of art. Our team includes me. I founded home equity loan marketplace, which is profitable, and back office for hedge funds. I traded equities for 15 years, including 7 years in hedge funds. I was director of research at Marquardt Spectrum for a portfolio of $200 million. My managing director worked at McKinsey for 5 years and graduated LSE. We have Cecilia Mulin-Chen, who is responsible for legal and compliance for regulations. She was Chief Compliance Officer at China Construction Bank and CEO at UBS. We have Bradley Reuter, who is a co-chair at REITs. Hagio von Dillen, who is a portfolio manager at Franklin Templeton Investments with assets under management $700 billion. David Drake is advising on real estate. We have Eli Tarana from Cedrock Capital. And we have two of my CTO, one of Zaloga Home Lending Marketplace, and also Michael Zbitnikov from my back office platform. So we are one of the small amount of projects, of token sale projects, which are based on existing businesses, which have started since 2011. And also, I understand how the marketplace should work for traders, for investors, because I was trader and investor myself. So we have 4 applications working. It's a LAT wallet. It allows to control token operations. It's light marketplace. It allows to find tokenized assets, and we have a trading terminal to trade them, and the core has to control net asset value and do risk management. So that's how our ecosystem look like. You see at the top assets which we tokenize and make available at LAT marketplace, where we have trading terminal, including order management, trading interface, and back office. And individuals and investors can access all of this out of trading interface and API. So we are one of the most developed projects, and we have not only concept or even MVP. We have blockchain working. We have working business. You can make trades. They are real. Our niche is a tokenization platform, which allows listing and trading tokens of third party. So there are several projects which tokenize real estate, even pieces of art. We can list their tokens on our platform and make transparent and comparable to other assets. Of course, if these tokens are compliant with our listing criteria. You can build your own applications on our platform, tailor it for your specific asset classes and local legal requirements. So how tokenization works? First, asset owner signs a custodial agreement which suppose that this custodian will buy part of asset at the moment when this custodian sells tokens. So he uses cash received from tokens to buy part of an asset from asset owner. Then investors can trade this token. They can resell it without transaction costs. If you kind of resell real estate somewhere in France, you will pay 20% tax for each trade. When you trade token by real estate, there is no tax, for example. Then there is the fourth step. It's the date when custody transfer cash for this proceed from the sale of the asset. So custody shall sell the asset at the settlement date and transfer cash to asset owners. So this works like forward. Investors, in order to buy these assets, would like to buy a lot because this will be the most liquid pair. Most of the tokens will be traded against LAT on a higher volume than against Ethereum, for example. That's why turnover on our marketplace will correlate with the demand for LAT. So we have a very strong reason why investors buy our LAT and why the demand is growing. So our valuation for tokens in circulation is 120 million. And we have frozen tokens, 600 million tokens out of 1 billion, which will be unfrozen in 10 years. This will allow us to kind of have funds to grow the business, to be the leader of the market. We are in process of listing in crypto exchanges. I made this screenshot this morning. It was 8 million, so now it's almost 10 million. Yesterday we just raised 8 million in a few hours, and we are ending the token sale of the first round. So I think in a few hours. Don't hesitate to ask me for any details. Do you have any questions, guys? Hello?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so I think we can make a short Q&A, and then I can switch to our platform and show how it works.
Valentin, just from a regulatory perspective, because you had a regulatory and compliance person on your organization chart as well. Given that the first thing you're doing is taking equity shares and tokenizing them, how do you differentiate that from securities laws that applies in different countries, and why is it different if I trade it through a token?
So we onboarded to our team former chief compliance officer from and regulatory officer from Deutsche Börse, from UBS, and China Construction Bank. It's Patricia, it's Cecilia von Müller, and we also work with very strong lawyers. And at the moment, there is a lot of uncertainty about regulation of tokens. So we have several strategies to make tokens compliant for a broad auditory of more regulated countries. We are starting security token token security working group to negotiate with SEC. Before we made appropriate clarifications with SEC, we closed US market, and LAT is utility token. Some of our tokens issued on our platform can be either prediction tokens or in some countries can be considered as securities, and in order to buy them, in some countries, investors should be accredited investor, and we shall make compliance on investors, and to allow access for those investors who kind of are accredited investors.
Thank you.
On
the technical side, what is your platform based on? If you can share that, are you an Ethereum platform, a Hyperledger platform, or does it matter at all?
At this stage, until we have less than 10 transactions per second, it kind of not a big difference for us. Is that this is Ethereum or potentially Hyperledger, which is not yet working properly. So we are working on the platform is working on Ethereum at the moment, and this is pretty enough in terms of speed. We don't have problems with this because we kind of make trades on after very fast. We write them down to our system and then store them at blockchain with some lag, with several minutes lag, until we have a kind of very high turnover. This looks pretty safe, and investors are pretty happy with this setup.
Great, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Who is the legal owner of the assets from the moment of tokenization till the maturity of the contract?
Ownership is shared between trustee and asset owner. So asset owner sells part of his property to trustee, and asset owner have an opportunity to buy back his part of the asset from the custodian, from trustee, and if he doesn't do this, then trustee sells this part of assets to the market at the settlement date.
How are investors guaranteed that at the settlement date the price at which the asset is going to be sold is actually going to be in the best interests of the investors? Well, let's take an example of a real estate, for example, which is much less liquid than Apple stocks or anything like that. So how does it practically happen? So which part of the real estate, let's say where it's an apartment in France or whatever, which part of it is going to custodian? What exactly has custodian right to do with the asset, and how exactly does the sale happen at the settlement date?
Yeah, so there is an auction process. So the real estate is put on sale. If there is no sufficient demand, there is two options. First is to roll over the token, so issue new tokens to new investors and use cash to cover tokens to pay back for tokens of the previous issuance. This is the last kind of sort of resort. So two options. First is to sell at auction, which can take several months, if it's not sold, it can be tokenized again, and token is rollover into a new token with a new settlement date. It works like futures rollover.
And who is exactly the custodian? So if I just tokenize my apartment, let's say, so does the custodian have right to sell it without me even knowing? So is there some kind of inherent trust that I have to give to the custodian? That's, well, nothing bad will happen.
There is an agreement between custodian, token owners, and asset owner, where certain criteria for selling assets are set up. There is a date when custody can start selling this asset, and there is an option for asset owner to buy back his asset, his part of the asset at a privileged order. So everything is written in the agreement, and trustee or custody just execute this agreement.
You said the part of the asset is actually going to legally belong to the custodian. How big part is it? Is it 10%, 50%, 100%?
It's from 10 to 80% for real estate.
Okay.
Yeah. So any more questions, or we move to trial trades at the platform? Okay, I am opening the wallet and show how trading works. Just to wait a second.
It's still not quite clear for me. Like, if a custodian owns, like, let's say 10% of my apartment, how will be he able to sell it physically at an auction at the settlement date? How do you sell 10% of an apartment?
He sells entire property and distribute cash between asset owners, including you and token holders.
I'm just kind of trying to see, like, what the potential scam situations could be. Like, if somebody tokenizes their assets, selling just 10% to the custodian, then just cashes in everything that he sold, and then legally he still owns 90% of the property, and he refuses to cooperate further. What happens?
So the agreement gives the right for trustee to sell the entire property, and if kind of asset owner kind of resist, then trustee goes to court, and there is a legal procedure, and there are legal costs which are covered by the client, by asset owner, and that is one of the reason why asset owner still retains not less than 20% of the asset. This is to cover costs related to legal problems, related to potential damage to property, so on.
Do you have all these details disclosed on your website somewhere?
Yeah, we have a white paper, which is very detailed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, let me just show how trades can be made, and we finalize with the final questions. So you see my screen, right? Do you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, it's good.
Okay. So you can access tradable instruments at LATexchange section. You see that there is a tradable section. That's select Apple. So you just this price is in LAT tokens. It's equal to something like 160 euros. So this is Apple tradable at DAX, Deutsche Börse. There is a settlement date, 30th of September, when at this date we pay cash equal to the price of Apple at Deutsche Börse to token holders. So it works like forward. At this date, 30th of September, you get cash equal to the price of Apple share at the end of the date at Deutsche Börse. If you think that the price will be higher, or you want to diversify your portfolio, you can buy it. You see that somebody is selling 70 tokens, Apple tokens, at price 4636. Right? Okay, we just bought 5 tokens. Apple, tokenized Apple. So this is the token name. It is long because it includes the date, settlement date, and details of Apple, where this Apple share is traded. JAR means that it's traded in DAX stock exchange. And you see this is the last price because of our transaction. So let's try to sell it. She said somebody buys it at 456. Oh no, we sell it. Okay. So now we made 2 trades. We bought 5 and sell 5. If you see there is a kind of too high spread, you can make market making. If you see that price of this token deviates from the price of underlying asset, you can make arbitrage. You can short sell or make long position in Apple, and tokenized Apple, and make opposite position in fiat Apple, and see how this arbitrage is going to 0 to the settlement date. Okay, guys, do you have any questions?
So you actually have a true security identifier that's registered for that tokenized Apple share?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, guys, I invite you to try trading. Okay, you can write to me if you start kind of trading, I will add to the first 5 people who asked me. I will add to each of you for 1,000 LAT tokens. It's like $300. Okay, guys, it was a big pleasure to talk with you. If you have any thoughts, especially in
how do you become a custodian? One last question, sorry. How do you become a custodian for things like real estate, for example? To work with
we are not custodian for real estate. For each tokens, there is its own custodian, which is accredited by us. This custodian depends on the region, and its asset owner can select his custodian and make an agreement with this custodian based on our template and our approval from our lawyers.
So do you have like a well-established procedure to vet the potential custodians? Hello? Hello?
Hello. Looks like Valentin has switched off. Yeah, and before he comes back and answers your question, I just want to add one more thing. Today we are not active in Japan. Yes, both for our token sale and for the further business development. Yes, we are quite active in other parts of the world, in US and Europe especially. So we would highly appreciate if any of you or of your partners would be interested in partnering for the Japanese market. And any kind of introductions would be valuable. What do we need, and what can we offer here? So first we certainly need in 2 stages. So first in the token sale stage, and then after. So for the token sale, some partners who are working with local SMM, with local social media, and as well with capital introductions in Japan would be very, very valuable, because we do need such partners. We want to contract them. And second, for the stage when we go to the after ICO to the main part of the business, we would definitely need partners who are interested in asset sourcing, assets needed for tokenization, mainly in real estate, because that's the biggest market, but not only. And second, for the investor relations with investment funds interested in purchasing of these particular assets. So on the both sides. And definitely, okay, lots of partners would be needed as custodians and other people, but that's already the next stage. Valentin, did you come back?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, it's kind of we are interested in finding SMM, ICO SMM partners, and this is a very good opportunity to participate in token sale of the product, which is helping investors to kind of transform capital markets to access real assets via crypto, and this is a pretty high demand. So please contact Artyom for this. Thanks a lot. I'm leaving for.
I will send my emails now in the chat so that everyone has it.
Okay. Bye. Yeah. Sorry.
There was one question about custodians as well. That probably.
Sorry, I was kind of. Yeah. Could you repeat please the question?
The question was, do you have a well-established procedure to vet custodians for real estates or other types of assets, well, which are not liquid, in Eastern Europe or in other parts of the world?
It's really varies from country to country. We need a particular case. We assign an agreement for trial sale. So we add the asset to our platform. Just it's a pretty easy step, and then we make a trial sale to see interest from investors. And after this, we start legal procedures. We kind of make investments in a legal setup in a particular country. So if you have a object for tokenization, please apply via our site or connect with Artem. If this is a kind of big and interesting object, we will prioritize this. And then after trial sale, we will set up legal structure in the country of this object.
This is owner, but custodian in say in Japan or in Russia or whatever it is. What's the process to become a custodian?
So normally it's a well-established business in any region. There are trustees. So trustees works like custodian. And this should be a reputable trustee, which is recognized by investors and local authorities. So I think that in each country there could be its own procedure how to become a trustee. So normally we work with a well-established trustee with a strong track record.
Okay, so just if you could give an example in one of the countries, who is it? A bank? Is it some kind of insurance company? Is it a fund? Who is a trustee?
So it's a special entity which is called trustee. They have a license. Kind of this is regulated business, and I think that we would prefer to start to working with a very well-established trustee because there is a kind of big part of this business is reliability of trustee.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you, Valentin. I think we're out of time then as well. Thank you for the very interesting presentation, and I think we'll be in touch. Maybe we can help you here in Japan.
Norbert, thank you very much for organization. We highly appreciate it. And
thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.